to be strategic here about who I vote for, but I still have to vote for my conscience, vote who I think was a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
So I know who I'm voting for.
Amazing. And
At the moment, no. Okay, we've all along people have voted for the lesser evil. Okay, they're all corrupt.
yeah.
Okay, they've lied to us. They've made promises that they did not keep.
Yeah.
I've lost hope in them. The person that I believe can make a difference is Pastor Art for the Independent Party.
Selene Galas here for Rebel News. Today I'm at the Worldwide Freedom Rally taking place in Calgary, Alberta. We're at City Hall right now, right in front of it. And as you can see, we have a bit of a group that's gathered over here in the background. There's lots of singing, cheering, but I'm here to ask them a couple of questions. Why are these freedom rallies still taking place if majority of the population is convinced that all of the mandates, as far as they're concerned, have been displaced or abolished? Well, I'm going to ask them a little bit about that and also some Alberta-centric questions. Who's going to win, as well as ArriveCan? Do we need it? Is it working? Or is it just a government ploy in order to track you and take your information? Let's go see what the people of Calgary have to say about that. All right, so we're here at the Worldwide Freedom Rally in Calgary, Alberta. I think a lot of folks just really want to know why people are still coming out to these rallies. I mean, a lot of people think that there are no restrictions that exist, so why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
You know, as a Canadian and someone who values freedom, it's absolutely crucial that we stand up every day for these things, you know, and, there might not be a war going on right now, guns blazing, but there is a war on freedom, and, we don't need to wait for guns to do something about it, and that's why we're out here.
First of all, people are still wearing masks. The wrong type of masks. They're breathing barriers. Okay, a real mask has ventilation to breathe in and out. Okay?
Oh, the same. It hasn't ended. Everybody thinks it's over and it's not because it hasn't infected their world yet. And for most of us, we know what it's done.
Wise, I would say the primary factor that keeps me coming out all summer long for the rallies, when a lot of people have already kind of went off and decided to enjoy their summers off, not to be critical of anybody, because I took my time, we all took our time off. But the biggest issue that was a shocker to me is that the country of Australia was the only remaining country to remove the mask restrictions when you're flying internationally. And that leaves only communist Canada left as a nation in the world, the only country left in the world. And that's saying something when you think of Australia, that they would remove the mask restrictions, but yet Canada still has it in place. So I think we all see the big picture here is that it's part of their digital ID, the passport systems controlling Canadians' ability to travel in and out of the country.
I'd say they haven't been paying attention if they think that it's over. Not a lot has really changed. The discrimination is still there by the government. A lot of the people have changed their minds, and they're kind of waiting for their government to have the same values. Hopefully that'll change soon.
I'm here because this isn't really over. While things are a little quieter right now, things will pop back up again, such as still pushing the vaccine mandates. The ArriveCan still, Canada is the only country in the world that requires an app be on your phone to come back into your own country when that's not necessary. It's not
incredible, riveting, right?
It's ridiculous, and I think the rest of the world is seeing what's going on in Canada. I think a lot of Canadians are waking up, especially the trend that's on Twitter right now. #Trudeau must go.
All right. Well, yes, I'm here today because the Independence Party, with its new leadership, with Pastor Art Pawlowski. We want to kind of get the word out. We're starting a big plan to do a slow roll across Alberta. We want to get the word out that we're the only answer. There's only us versus them.
It's definitely worth protesting so far. I've been protesting since October 2020. It's basically you're right. freedom of bottom autonomy, right? You have a choice whether or not to get the shot, and anybody, if you want to get it, great, get it, but don't push it on other people. Don't push your beliefs on other people, right? And it's just sad to see that we haven't really seen any change, since COVID began. There's still a lot of unanswered questions about, vaccines, people like the politicians saying things, and then now they're backtracking on what they're saying, and so it's really important to still be out here.
I want to ask a little bit more about some Alberta-centric questions, right? With the UCP leadership race coming up and with Alberta going through a provincial election, what do we think about Danielle Smith being the front runner?
There's this thing called campaign promises, which a lot of elected officials like to stand behind. And I'm not a fan of campaign promises, so whenever they say whatever they say, I just assume it's complete bullshit, and I just find out where they live, and I get ready with my pickets.
I don't know her personally. I've listened to her on the radio. I've listened to her debate. I like a lot of the ideas she has. Trust is I'm not going to say she broke my trust when she crossed the floor years ago or whatever that happened, but I don't know. I think she's an honest person. I do.
Well, I like her, but I'm not necessarily voting for her. I have a favorite in the pick. However, I think the way the ranking goes, and I had to read that this morning, do I really understand how that works? I understand that it must be 50% for there to be considered a leader of the UCP. So if someone doesn't get 50%, the lowest person drops off, and then the votes on that ballot go to their second pick. So it's like, I need to be strategic here about who I vote for. But I still have to vote for my conscience, vote who I think was a stand-up guy. So I know who I'm voting for.
Amazing.
At the moment, no. Okay, we've all along people have voted for the lesser evil. Okay, they're all corrupt. Okay, they've lied to us. They've made promises that they did not keep. I've lost hope in them. The person that I believe can make a difference is Pastor Art for the Independent Party.
I don't know if we do trust Danielle Smith. Kenny did lie. He said, we're going to be open. He said open for summer, and then he locked us down. So it's like, it's lie after lie. Politicians, they do things just to get into power, and then they change their mindset. And there's lobbyists, and there's people that are influencing you and telling you to do this and that. So and there's also a money factor. Will she get bought off? I don't know. I like the Alberta Independence Party. I like the message that he's saying. Maybe he won't get in, but it's really important to have the conversations with the Conservatives, with the NDP, and really put them on the spot and say, you've been doing this for 2 years. What are you gonna do?
What do you think about ArriveCan? I mean, they're trying to streamline it and say that ArriveCan was put in place to help make it easier going through the airport in regards to restrictions. That has not been the case, at least from what I've heard from individuals. So what do you think? Do we scrap ArriveCan or what?
Absolutely scrap it. ArriveCan is just a tracking device. It's infringing on our ability to not everybody has a cell phone. So it doesn't work.
ArriveCan, right? So it was put in place apparently to streamline going through the airports through restrictions to make things easier. I've heard that has never been the case. Not even once has it made anyone's lives easier. So what do we think of it? Should we scrap it or no?
Scrap it.
Definitely scrap it.
Against.
Why is that?
Well, my understanding is it's not efficient. They wasted a bunch of money on it, and it alienates Canadians. They have so many rights that you don't need to be giving away private information to these kind of people who we're not sure what they're using it for. They say it's for one thing, but we can't trust them because they change their stuff every week.
It's another control technique. It's another, let's slip a mask, call it ArriveCan, on people and see if they'll acquiesce, see if they'll participate. They're treating us like little mice in an experiment. So I call it ArriveCan't. I'm not participating in any of that nonsense.
Personally, I'm not signing up to ArriveCan. It's none of you know, if you don't want to participate in it, you don't have to participate in it, right? You have the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It's like you're forcing me to install this app when I want to go travel or want to go somewhere. It's like, no, I'm not playing your game.
And the Alberta Sovereignty Act, that's pretty popular. What do you think about that?
Actually, I'm more for Alberta separation. I believe that we've tried all that we can within the current system, and that if we just continue to play the game with Ottawa, we're going to come out on the losing end. You know, our parents went through this in the 80s with the first Trudeau, and here we are again with somebody else controlling everything we do and say and how we spend our money and all the things.
I'm definitely for it, but I'm a little it's got to start somewhere, and I think a lot of people are saying that the Alberta Sovereignty Act aligns with extremism, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I like the concept of it, but I don't think that Todd Loewen couldn't do anything equally beneficial for Albertans if he was Premier of Alberta.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a wrap. As you can see, the event is just ending now with people taking off and going towards a march down the streets of Calgary, Alberta. It was such a pleasure to be here today. The weather was beautiful, and I had some really awesome conversations with folks. So I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Selene Galas. Go to noarrivecan.com, sign our petition there. You don't need the government taking your information, stealing it. We don't want a digital ID here, not in Alberta, not in Canada. Go sign our petition at noarrivecan.com and make sure that you're doing what it takes in order to stick up for your rights and your freedoms.